Good. All right. 3, 2. It's Tim Albright with AVNation in the Jupiter stand at ISE 2022 with Justin Shong from Jupiter. Thanks for having us, sir.
Thanks for coming. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. I'm familiar with you for years and years ago. Video processing, control command system processing, and we are certainly going to talk about that.
Yep.
However, after walking through your booth, I am a little bit excited. This is
a little bit?
Well, here's the thing.
Okay.
I am cautiously optimistic about your 21.9 displays. We know 21.9, that is typically a cinematic format.
Correct.
Right? You guys have taken that cinematic format and you're doing displays with them.
Correct.
Not only for obviously command and control, but also for video conferencing and for digital signage.
Correct.
So let's go take a top-down view.
Right.
Why 21.9?
We believe it's a better way to consume the information.
Okay.
Right? I mean, the human field of view is wider than it is tall. 16:9 has been the standard ever since we moved from 4:3, which was kind of a standard because people say, Thomas Edison said, make it square when I'm doing the first photograph, right? So we did it that way because it was easy to manufacture, because it was the way it had always been done. And since we were coming to the really display space new, right? We took our history of innovation in the processing space and extended it out to the monitors and some of the other products that are coming down the road later. We thought, how do we differentiate it? How do we continue to be unique and innovative and deliver something that we believe the customers are going to need? And so 21:9 kind of came out of that, and we thought, this is a better way to do it, right? Manufacturing is caught up to where we can manufacture the products at a reasonable cost and deliver them to the market at a reasonable cost. And we believe it's a better way to consume the information, and I think we're seeing a lot of validation from people like Microsoft, from Netflix, and certainly from the motion picture industry, which has been doing it since the 1960s.
Yeah, well, let's talk about Microsoft for a second. You mentioned the fact that Microsoft's on board with 21.9. Explain that for a second.
So Microsoft, in kind of their evolution of Teams, started out as a desktop application. And for desktop, it was great. And then we all took it and put a PC behind a big monitor and used that same desktop application in a conference room. Yeah. The problem with that is the behavior when you're sitting 10 or 12 feet away from that monitor isn't the same as when you're sitting a foot or 2 feet away from your desktop monitor. So when you blow that up on a wall and you start to share content, the faces and the far end participants shrink down to a level where the people in the conference room can't see if Johnny's paying attention, right? Or if Susie's falling asleep. So they were looking for a way to get back to what we all understood as video conferencing and had more people and content. So the MTR kind of front row view was born, and they, through their kind of investigation over the last couple of years, determined that 21:9 was the best aspect ratio to fit their format into. Okay. And we'll take a look at it in a little bit. We have it running in the booth here, but it was really, we arrived at we had the same conclusions, but we were going down parallel paths, and then because of some interconnections between the companies, we had an opportunity to show them our monitors when they were thinking about projection, and it all worked out. And so we're supplying a lot of 21:9 MTR rooms right now.
Well, good for you. And
Thank you.
And you've actually got one of your monitors running in the Microsoft stand here.
They do.
They do. All right, so you've got a number of different products.
Correct.
Showing it. We'll show you with the B-roll and stuff. Walk me through the 21.9 family.
Okay, so we've got 3 sizes, 5 different SKUs, and I'll go to the first one here. So this is the Pana 105 running in portrait mode. So our 81 and 105 are the 2 major sizes for the large format. They'll both go in landscape or portrait. Okay. So for digital signage, for experiential centers, for lobbies, we're seeing a lot of pickup on this because I can get 5K resolution with this kind of brightness in an LCD, single device, single source, single power supply, one mount, hanging on a wall, and you're done. Yeah. And I think from an integrator perspective, which is where I was before I came to Jupiter, the only other kind of product I could fit into a space like this was DirectView LED. Okay. And it's got a lot of disadvantages when you're doing something like this, not the least of which is resolution. But then there's also, the processor that sits behind it, and the cabinets you have to align, and the seams, and all of the other things. We can drop these into these architectural installations and and give that kind of, wow effect that the corporations are looking for. It's sitting in John Deere's lobby at their corporate headquarters right now. It's sitting at Stanley Black & Decker's Customer Experience Center, where they basically covered a hallway with these in portrait mode.
Wow.
So that as you enter their space, you're taking that customer journey, and they can change the content on the fly.
Yeah.
And it's really cool. We're starting to see a lot of uptick on this in this kind of application.
Right.
We talk about the landscape mode in a little bit.
Right.
We also have an 81-inch version and then a 34-inch as well.
All right, you've also partnered with a number of folks that are taking your displays and making them interactive.
Correct.
So talk about that.
We have several collaboration partners who have built really innovative collaboration software. We're not going to build collaboration software. We're building the hardware. We've got a launcher that goes with our product called SimpleShare that allows our customers to use their existing workflows in their environments. We understand that as a display and a hardware manufacturer primarily, we're not going to be able to hammer a square peg in a round hole and convince somebody to go with Zoom or Microsoft or Google, right? That's a corporate decision that the enterprises make independent of us.
Yeah.
So we looked at it as how do we best serve our customers, and really it is allowing them to use their workflow, allowing for a better customer adoption of the product, because the holy grail, we can all build these great technological products, but if people don't use them, they failed,
Yeah.
right? So the best way to get people to use them is give them something they already know, right? And then enhance that experience. So we're looking at enhancing that experience by giving them product they already know. So with the collaboration platforms, there's, Aleo is a company that we're working with.
Yep.
Ramago has a platform called Valeria that we're working with. Codex Interactive, Cyviz, there's a number of partners that we work with that are standardizing on our display, not the least of which is Microsoft.
Yeah.
For different use cases based on what they're working with their customers on and their customers' needs, and we just give them a better canvas to display it on. And so that's kind of the cool thing about our collaboration is it allows us to multiply our sales and multiply our touch with people who are really experts in what they do, and allows us to focus on what we do best, which is building platforms like this.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, let's talk about the platform that I was familiar with before
Sure.
I walked up here.
Okay.
And that is your video wall processing,
Sure.
right? You guys have been doing it for 40 years. You have a couple of different lines and a couple of different levels.
Right.
So talk about kind of the Microsoft version and then the Linux
Sure.
version.
So Jupiter invented the video wall processor in 1981. It was a point project that our founder, who is still our VP of engineering, was tasked to do at UCSF Medical Center in San Francisco.
Okay.
And the project was 2 images on the same display. That was it, right?
Okay.
And in 1981, there was nothing that could do that. So
Yeah.
he built one. And they built a business out of it, right? It's been running since 1981. And over the years, we've continued that history of innovation. We were the first people to make a Windows-based processor, right? So you can run your applications on top of it. So in nuclear power control rooms or wildfire control rooms, you can run a SCADA application on the processor and not have a rack full of computers that you're trying to control as well.
Okay.
It runs in that environment. We were the first to do AV over IP back in 2006, right? And everybody's doing AV over IP for different things today, but we were doing it for distributed video wall processing.
Okay.
That platform is called PixelNet. We're on our 2nd generation and version 8 of the software of that. And it's unlimited scalability, runs on Linux, is highly secure. So for government and very secure applications, military type applications, it does things that nobody else can do. And that's kind of what Jupiter's history has been, is doing things that nobody else can do. Our Windows-based processors scale very well too. They're sort of single wall focused processors,
Okay.
but the software environment that they all kind of play in is called Canvas. And you can gang all of those processors together. So as you're going around kind of looking through the booth, you'll see that we've got 6 processors in the same Canvas environment that we set up here in the show, and can share sources between operators and between video walls.
Oh, wow.
Kind of on the fly. And in our bigger distributed applications, we've got one application that has somewhere around 100,000 inputs. Nobody's exactly sure how many cameras are tied into this thing. And it's got 1,000 or so televisions or monitors that it's running on, and another 800 or so desktop applications. All of those sources are accessible by every operator and can put on any one of the monitors on any one of the dozen video walls that are scattered around this mid-sized European country.
Good night.
Right? But it's all the same environment.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of the key is allowing the people who need that information, rapid access to it, they can get what they need and make those mission critical, time critical decisions effectively. And that's what we've been doing forever.
All right, Justin, somebody wants to find out more about the video wall processing or the 21.9 displays.
Jupiter.com. And again, just want to stress, we're only 21:9 on our monitors. That was our vision. We don't want to compete with in 16:9. That's, we have a family of products. It's important to us to continue to kind of drive that because we believe we're going to change the way people visually consume information. And this really is the best way to do it.
I am going to be watching you guys. So
Thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate
so much.
it.
Justin from Jupiter for us, for AVNation. Go by our website, avnation.tv. That's avnation.tv. Find more videos from the show floor of ISE 2022. All that and more at avnation.tv. It's avnation.tv.